We have some major breaking news as it has been announced that Josh Morris and Greg Fowler will join the ownership group of Nice Motorsports. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive major breaking news as we have new ownership group for Nice Motorsports effective immediately. Here's the announcement from Nice Motorsports. News: the owners of DQS Solutions and Staffing and JF Electric, two of our longtime partners, are now officially part of the Nice Motorsports ownership group. Same name, same mission, even more horsepower moving us forward. And also, Bob Pockers had some notes from earlier today as well on this announcement as well. Bob Pockers states in the original announcement, Nice Motorsports announces as a sale of majority ownership Josh Morris, CEO of DQS Solutions and Staffing, along with Greg Fowler, CEO of JF Electric, and family have become the majority owners of the team. Bob Pockers also notes as well some new changes to the group over there as well. Cody Efa will be the president and CEO of Nice Motorsports, which will keep the Nice name, and Phil Gold will be the director of competition for the program, meaning that Phil Gold, I believe, gets promoted from being a crew chief to one of the trucks, I think being that 45 truck, if I'm not mistaken, and will get promoted to being the new director of competition for the team. Phil Gold has been with Nice Motorsports for the last couple years and has been doing a really solid job on that front. Some other notes as well: Amanda Efa will become the role of CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer of the organization and team. And there's been some other stuff that was noted in today's announcement as well on that front. There's been a lot of things that have come out with this. We've obviously heard a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation about this announcement that Nice Motorsports was going to be making some really big changes to their program. There was a big announcement that was planned to be scheduled for the team, and now we know what the announcement is. Also noted by Chris Knight as well, founding owner Alan Nice will scale back some of his involvement and financial commitment with the team, but will remain part of the ownership group. So Alan Nice is still going to be there over at Nice Motorsports going forward, but he won't be back as a full-scale owner of the team. He's scaling back some of his ownership, with Alan Nice also being a lot older at this point. I think he's wanted to scale that back, and I think it makes a lot of sense on that front as well. And they will also continue to be one of the few organizations in sport that manufactures its vehicles, chassis, bodies, and all that kind of stuff. And they also be expanding their marketing, PR, hospitality offerings as well. This is a really big deal. Again, we had heard a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation that Nice Motorsports was going to be having some sort of announcement. We had thought maybe it was going to be an announcement of Connor Jones going full-time in the Truck Series next year. Connor Jones is making quite a few starts with Nice Motorsports for the remainder of the season, and Connor Jones, of course, has a lot of funding, a lot of sponsorship with him, so many thought that this was going to be an announcement of that. I don't think any of us were expecting that they were going to be selling off part of the ownership for the team, but I think Nice Motorsports making this reshuffling of ownership actually makes a lot of sense, because there's going to be a lot of cash coming in from DQS and JF Electric. JF Electric sponsors a lot of it sponsors Matt Mills in pretty much every single race in the Truck Series every single year, and DQS Solutions has been sponsoring not just the 41 truck for Nice Motorsports, which has had guys like Ross Chastain, guys like Carson Ospar behind the wheel, but they've also sponsored the 45 truck that Katie Honeycutt drove for a lot of the year and a lot of the season, and will sponsor Bailey Curry for the remainder of the season as well. Plus, they've sponsored a couple Craftsman Truck Series races over the last couple years, including the recent race at Michigan that happened a couple months back in June. This is a really big deal. Now, what does this mean for Nice Motorsports going forward, with Alan Nice stepping back and scaling back on the ownership? Well, this could have a really big deal also on the driver lineup for 2026. We do not know exactly what the driver lineup is going to be for next year, but I think one driver that you probably will expect to be full-time once again next year is Matt Mills. Matt Mills has had JF Electric as a sponsor going back to like 2018 or 2019, I'm pretty sure, when he ran part-time in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Of course, he had them on his Xfinity car when he drove for BJ McLeod Motorsports a couple years back, and they have sponsored Matt Mills throughout the last couple of years and seasons. With this happening, I expect Matt Mills to not go anywhere anytime soon. I get that Matt Mills has not performed extremely well in the 42 truck, but when you have one of the owners of your team now basically have been your sponsor, and you've been your sponsor for many years, and they've not leaving you despite your performance not being as great, Matt Mills is probably going to stick around. As much as I don't think Matt Mills fully deserving to be on the wheel of the number 42 truck, though he's had a couple good runs this year, again, when you have funding and sponsorship with your team, it makes a lot of sense to keep him around at least for the future. As for the other two trucks, because there's a chance they could downsize, it's unknown of how many trucks they are going to have for 2026 at this point. I would think they're probably going to have around 3 to 4 trucks at this point. One driver that I think is very likely to go full-time as of now is Andres Perez. Andres is driving a 44 truck for the remainder of 2025. He's going to have Telson, I believe, Claro as a sponsor for the remainder of the season. I would expect, especially with the funding and sponsorship that he's bringing, he's probably going to stay in the number 44 truck next year, so don't expect any changes on that front with with where he's at the moment. Andres, I think, will be okay with Nice. I think this is a downgrade compared to Spire Motorsports, but let's be real and honest. Spire Motorsports has really struggled in some way, shape, or form. The 07 truck really wasn't that great this year of Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch and Michael McDowell and Corey LaJoie. I think they made the right decision to downsize their team to 3 trucks for the remainder of the season. And then, of course, you obviously do have the other one, which, again, I mentioned Connor Jones. There's been some talk that Connor Jones could be full-time next year in the Truck Series next season. With Nice Motorsports, I think that is a massive downgrade. If he goes there full-time, I don't think Connor Jones is good. I think he's wrecked a lot of equipment. It would make no sense for him to go over there. Because of sponsorship. And funny that he brings, that's probably why he'll end up being there with his dad's construction company. Some people talk about, what about Bailey Curry? Bailey Curry could also be full-time with the program. If Bailey Curry is full-time next year, I think it would make a lot of sense. Bailey's been with the team for like half a decade, it seems like, at this point. And I think he's done a really good job with Nice Motorsports. He has some really solid and really strong runs with the team and program. So it would make a lot of sense for him to be full-time in the Truck Series if he gets that chance and opportunity with this organization and team. There's also going to be the question saying, well, what about them going over to Dodge and Ram? They confirmed about a month or so ago. Cody Efa went on Sirius, I think, about a month or so ago, and confirmed that they're not going to be switching to Dodge and Ram in 2026. Again, they were one of the teams that was rumored initially to go over there, but it's been confirmed now at this moment that they're not going to be switching over, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because why would Nice Motorsports switch over? They're very loyal to Chevrolet. They've got the Trackhouse partnership as well, even though I think that Trackhouse down the road may end up switching over to Dodge in the Cup Series side of things when they go Cup racing, especially with the connection Ross has with that team and Ross's connection to Chevrolet. It would make no sense at this point for them to switch over. So this is definitely a massive change for sure, and definitely a big surprise in some way, shape, or form, because when I thought this announcement, I thought it was going to be a driver announcement. I thought it might be some sort of manufacturer announcement, but it's a really big deal to see new owners come into the sport. I really hope that Josh and Greg and everyone over there that's coming into the ownership group for the team can really help this organization get back up. I don't think that Nice has been as strong as this year compared to prior seasons. They're really good with Carson Osbar a couple years back. They're really good with Ross back in 2019. I really hope this team can step up to the plate and run a lot better for the remainder of the season. And we'll see how it goes going forward. But it's definitely a massive change for sure in the ownership group. And we got new owners coming in. Hopefully that can help Nice Motorsports step up their game and become better going forward in the future and step up and become a really good team like they were about half a decade ago with the performance they had in like 2019 and 2021 through 2023 as well. So, that is going to be today's special breaking news report on Nice Motorsports selling off part of the ownership stake to a couple new people. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go more of that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. Do you think the new owners coming to the team will help the program get better, or do you think there'll be some struggling at performance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. In a couple hours from now, we're going to see reactions to Cup Series qualifying from Richmond Raceway. Then you're also going to see the Craftsman Truck Series race review as well. Then tomorrow we're going to have the starting lineup video for the Cookout 400 along with the cover review from the Cookout 400 as well. And then we'll have a 2026 NASCAR silly season predictions dropping on Sunday. And then of course on Monday we'll have a NASCAR news video dropping on the channel discussing news over the course of the last couple days. We'll talk about the potential schedule announcement that's coming out as early as Tuesday. Talk about Chicagoland. Talk about Mexico City. We'll talk about people like Haley Deegan, Shaman Ginsburg, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Ballas, Ross Chastain, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Carson Osbar, Ryan Priest, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Cletus Safar, Dodge, Ram, Will Brown, Brock Feeney, Cam Waters, all the good stuff we'll talk about on the channel coming days and weeks, along with some lawsuits, Legacy, Rick Ware, and 2011 in front row Michael Jordan as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.